Hi everyone, welcome to Odoo Experience Day 3. I see a lot of tired faces out there. Stay with me, please. For this one, I've got some interesting stuff. Here's the QR code. You can scan it already if you have any questions regarding verticalization strategies. But I need you to stay awake because I want to start today with a little bit of a story. So I live in Brussels, and I like to start my Sunday mornings by going to a place called the Marché du Midi. And the Marché du Midi is actually right by Brussels Midi train station, and it's a really big market with a lot of fruit and vegetable stalls. And my favorite time to arrive is around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because at that point, I can start hearing from every corner, liquidation, liquidation. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? And it's actually the merchants who are trying to sell their final goods at rock bottom prices. So after I buy my kilo of tomatoes, I go home, and I think, because this is actually a little bit of a metaphor, what we're sometimes seeing in the partner landscape, where there's a lot of competition based on pricing. And so that's really what I want to, let's say, teach you today for all those partners who are out there trying to think about verticalization strategies, how to stand out. I want to really give you a little bit of insight in what are the right steps to take. So what did I do for this talk? I actually went out and I spoke to about 8 different partners all over the world. So here you can see all the different Odoo partners that I spoke to. And what do they all have in common? Each and every one of them actually has a specific industry solution built on Odoo Enterprise. All right, so I spoke to them to understand a little bit more about their journey, what went well and what didn't go well, really to help all the other partners out there. So big thank you to all the partners that took the time to speak to me. And now let's dive into the actual talk. It's going to be about three different elements. How do you come to an idea? How do you start a verticalization? How do you build a solution? And then how do you keep it future-proof? So we start with the beginning, which is the idea. Now, what are you actually trying to do here? You're thinking about who is my buying market, okay? And why would they buy from me? So that first, let's say, step, who will be your buyer? So after speaking to the partners, I feel there's about 5 different origins of where the need actually comes from to start the verticalization. So here you can see the different ones. The first one, which is about the organic lead, is the most common one that we see. This is applicable to a lot of Odoo partners because they're first generalists. And what they're seeing after a while is that there is a group of clients who have things in common, like industry, processes, etc. And for those partners out there who, for this sounds reasonable or recognizable, this is your message. This could be an opportunity to think about, okay, are this model, the solutions that I'm building for them, could it be a verticalization strategy? Could I take those modules and make actually a different business model out of it for my own partnership? The second group is more, I would say, call them legacy software. So it's existing partners who have a verticalization solution, but on a different software. And for whatever reason, they decide to move to Odoo. So a good example of this is Wildo, a partner from Australia, who have a timber solution. I'm going to show some more of it later. And they actually had a software which went end of life, and they found Odoo as a right solution. Why is Odoo seen as a good solution? Quite often the words flexible, open source, adaptable come back. So this is why Odoo is seen as a good software, even for verticalization strategies. The third category is partners who were on Odoo Community, had a vertical solution, and moved to Odoo Enterprise. Why are they doing this? Because it's very difficult to keep up to date with all of the needs of a client. And it's Odoo, our job, to keep the Odoo Enterprise solution really up to date. So this actually made more sense for them to move their clients to Odoo Enterprise, let Odoo take care of the more, let's say, business or ERP-orientated applications, and that they could really focus on what they're good at, which is their niche. So that's the third category. So the last two are really a bit more entrepreneur, opportunistic types of needs. So the fourth one is industry experts. So these are actually people who come from a specific industry and immediately build a verticalization strategy on Odoo. Example is QOC. They're a partner from the States. They have a booth here in the Odoo Experience, and they are from the manufacturing industry. And because of COVID, they were actually in between jobs, and they were hired as business consultants to find a new ERP solution. And they found Odoo and decided Odoo is really the right solution for this industry, and decided to build some more custom modules. So that's how their verticalization started, and they're now a gold partner in the USA. And the last one is about legislation. It's important to keep up to date with the rules and regulations of the government around your solution. And this could be an opportunity for you to build the reporting within Odoo that is needed for that sector. So an example of that is Toolkit, a partner from the Philippines who are focused on real estate. And for the reporting around the real estate progressions, they have specific modules which are required. And this is how their verticalization started. So in a nutshell, those are the 5 different origins. So this could be where your buying market is. But before you then continue, you need to go into the next step. And the next step is to validate the need. At Odoo, we say there are 3 different checks that you should put into place before you start. The first one is to talk to the market about your solution. Now, it's important to know that the market needs to be broader than just your client, because your client can have one specific need which may not be applicable for the rest of the market. So try and talk to maybe external consultant or something. The second thing is other competitors, so on other software, how advanced are their solutions? Maybe you can do trials of the software, see some demos to see how Odoo compares to that. And the last one is Odoo itself, of course. We all heard the keynote yesterday from Fabien, where he talked about the industry solutions that are being built on Odoo. Now, I just want to make something a little bit more clear. Those industry solutions are adaptations done with our studio application. So there are no custom modules built there, and they're really aimed at the mass markets for smaller projects. So even you as partners, you can still have your specific expertise or services, which go a lot deeper in a higher level. So do not be scared, because Odoo is moving into industries. It's actually broadening up the awareness and the market opportunity for everyone involved. I want to make this a bit actionable, because maybe there's partners are already with specific ideas in their head, and they're thinking, okay, I do want to start. I think I have the buying group in my head. So before you do that, it's really important to make a sort of business plan or a business assessment. And I want to highlight a little bit what are, let's say, the essential items that should be in your business plan before you start with a verticalization. So we start here at the top. The market opportunity size is some easy data you can pull to see how many different types of clients are there, the amounts within your region, within your country, from a specific industry. Try and find some market reports on the state of that industry to understand whether there is a big market opportunity. But then the most important is to see, okay, what are they currently using, and could Odoo be a good alternative? The biggest tip I can give you here is go to industry events from your niche. Find out at these trade shows, who are the exhibitors there? What are the solutions that they're offering? And try and really compare what they're offering right now. Where are the gaps? Where are they potentially losing money still as a business? And could Odoo be a good replacement? Now, also keep in mind that Odoo, we always take the 80-20% rule when it comes to implementation. So still, 80% of the total requirements should be done by Odoo standards, and the 20% is where you can really start building your expertise for your verticalization. So by going to these industry events, you can understand a little bit more about your market. Are they willing to change? What will you need to build? And this will give you a bit more the second insight into the investment needed. Because you're going to know how much development days are going to be needed to build a solution, how many consultants you're going to need to put on this to implement, and maybe some marketing budget. So it'll give you a bit insight in the total investment, backed up then, of course, with the revenues. How are you going to make money from this? How are you going to be profitable? What's the upfront investment that's needed? And how long or how quickly will you need to be break-even? This is very important to have this checked by external people. So it could be a consultant from the industry, an accountant, and to have, of course, your internal person who will be, I would call it the product owner, and who's really going to drive this internally, this solution, to the future. Why is this so important? Of the partners that I interviewed, they're saying that on average about 20% of their income is coming from these industry solutions. And it's enabled them to do more projects with a lower headcount. But this can only be done if you really make a good assessment before starting. So that's actually how you start with the solution, the idea, sorry, and now you come to the actual solution. There's 3 aspects which are important here, which is the actual building of it, the technical aspect, how you're going to invoice your customers, and the marketing roadmap. So first of all, the technical team in general is built up out of 3 people, where you have the industry expert who is giving the requirements towards the Odoo functional project manager, who then puts the requirements for the developer to the lead dev. And in general, these are then supported by a couple more business analysts or developers. And we're seeing that these teams are made up between 4 or 5 partners, 4 or 5 people, sorry, per partner to build this solution. Now, what's really important here are 2 key elements. is that when you start building your industry solution, is that you work towards something we call an MVP, or a minimum viable product, and to have strong KPIs and when to say a go or a no-go, because you want to have a good divide between billable hours and, of course, R&D. The second thing is about your intellectual property. You're going to build custom modules, so it's important to think about who will take ownership of this. Will it be the end client, and can they pay a fee for it, or will it be your own property? And also, what happens in the case if your collaboration should end? Is there an exit clause so that the customer can continue their project elsewhere? Now, I said that I would talk a bit about the pitfalls because I've been speaking to a lot of different partners, and around this aspect, a lot of information was shared. And the most important that I want to say here is when you're building this solution, it's your Odoo functional person, your project manager, who's going to be in charge. Why is this? Because if you have the industry expert talking directly to the developer, your minimum viable product is going to become in danger. So it's very difficult to maintain let's say the guidelines or the difference between either building a client solution and a client project and an industry solution. And that's why if you have the project manager in the lead, he can really be the guardian of those boundaries. So that's really the most important aspect that was shared with me by the other partners. Then the revenue. In general, there's two models. It's no rocket science. First of all, you have the editor model, which is a bit how Odoo works. So we have partners like Idealis or Accomodata working this way. They ask a fixed price to their client per year, per month, and then this includes the modules, the maintenance, support, and upgrades to the newer version. Okay, this means that, of course, they have a recurring income, and it means that they can reinvest this to constantly update the solution, which will be requested by the clients. And often they're quite protective also of the source code. The pricing of the annual fee can be dependent on the amount of modules installed, on the amount of users, or it can be a fixed fee regardless of the size of the project. So here there are a couple of different possibilities. The second model is more focused on services. So here we're seeing partners more like QOC and Toolkit who are actually very open to sharing the source codes of their custom modules with the end client. Okay, why are they doing this? Because for them, the verticalization is seen as a lead generation strategy. So they're really promoting their custom modules on the App Store, for example, to attract different customers, and they're not really scared of losing them, even if they have access to the source code, because their real strength lies in the people, in the experts that they have in-house who really know the industry very well, and that's the reason why their clients will stay with them, regardless whether or not they have access to the source code. And then marketing, look, there's a lot I can talk about marketing, and also one of my colleagues, Venus, she has a talk in an hour about marketing, so if you want to stick around for that, I recommend it. But there's a couple of concepts which I think are really important to share here. The first one is called the Blue Ocean Strategy. It's a marketing concept which explains that if you create a new industry and you're actually moving it into it as a first mover, you're able to ask a higher premium price. Okay, so I want to show a couple of examples of, let's say, partners which are doing this blue ocean strategy. So we have a partner from Spain called Indogs, and what is really cool about them, about this blue ocean concept, is that they already had a couple of clients in the construction industry. Okay, and they saw this as an opportunity to build a solution. But what really helped to accelerate this decision is they were part of an accelerator program organized by their local city or local council. And through this accelerator program, which was put up because the construction industry needed better business tools, they were actually able to really build the project very quickly, get it validated with the market, and it helped them to move in to this construction industry in Spain very quickly as one of the first ones with a better solution. And this is a really good example of how a blue ocean strategy was put into place. A second concept is called thought leadership. Thought leadership is really enabling you to be an expert in your vertical, in your industry, in your niche. Okay, and this also can come into place by really promoting yourself as an expert. I like to show another example. This is a Belgian partner called They Are Digital, who are heavily focused on e-commerce. Okay, and what you can see here is this is all their different content that they're making, and it's not just blogs, it's not newsletters, but they're actually also doing specific events, inviting people from the industry to discuss. They're having podcasts, etc. So they're really promoting themselves as the go-to person if it's around e-commerce. So if you look at their blog, all the topics that they're talking about is more sharing industry reports, is really giving general information about their industry and not just solely about one or two or three software solutions that they're offering. Okay, so that was an example of thought leadership. And the third key, let's say, differentiator here is to hire somebody from the industry when it comes to really making your content. Why? This person who is from the industry understands the pain points that your potential clients will have and will be able to create a lot stronger content, which you will get a lot higher traction on. So that's a really important aspect to hire somebody who knows the industry when you're creating your marketing content. Again, let's make it actionable. If you're now thinking already of your industry and you want to start your marketing roadmap, what could be a couple of the examples? So first of all, inbound, it means have a dedicated website landing page, which is different from your general Odoo partner page. Why? Let me show you. So we have another partner who I spoke to who have a specific website here just for their solution for the lumber industry. All right, so and they explain a little bit all the different functionalities that it has, and what's really, really important here is that you see they explain a little bit what they are. Here you see the name of the actual partner behind it, Will Do from Australia, but nowhere on this website is anything mentioned about Odoo. It's purely focused on the industry, okay? And that's why it's a really good example to have a different landing page website which differentiates from your general Odoo page. The Odoo page itself, of course, if I go to another partner I spoke to, which is Bista, they are based in the USA, and they actually they won the Best Partner Award yesterday. So you need to update your partner page, guys. But here you see all their different industry solutions that they have. So on their partner page, which is where a lot of partners get leads from, they can really highlight already, okay, these are our industries, and these are kind of the specific solutions that we have in place. So to really already try and target that industry vertical. Okay. When it comes to outbound, you've put a lot of effort into making your business plan. You know exactly who you're going to target. Then reach out to them. You know, you can make a good prospecting campaign with targeted messages with your content. So go out, you know who your prospects are, go out there and reach them. And the second thing that has been mentioned a lot is a referral program, because word of mouth is really important. We use something called the Pareto principle, which is 80% of your output comes from 20% of your input. So it means with 20% of the things that you're doing, you're getting 80% of the results. So use KPIs when you're doing outbound strategies to understand where that 20% input is coming from and try to expand that. And the last bit, of course, is networking. I spoke about the importance of industry events, but you can also organize your own events. So Idealis, partner from Belgium, did an event with KPMG about their life sciences solutions, because we have a really big life science industry here in Belgium. So those are events that you could also put up yourself in collaboration with other partners. Brings me a little bit to the last part, because we're coming up to the end. It's about keeping your solution future-proof. So first of all, it's the people, right? Try and recruit from the industry, or try and scale up as quickly as possible. So Toolkit, the partner, has a KPI in place. They have about 80% conversion rate when they sign an analysis to a project. So they know if an analysis is starting, they're looking at their planning, they're informing their HR to maybe really recruit some more people to work. And the second thing is, as I said, work with a product owner who is going to be responsible to keeping up to date with the solution. Why? Because it makes sense. Innovation is key, okay? So this will mean that you need to ask feedback from your clients. You will can send out, let's say, surveys. You can keep a library of different potential functionalities. But it's very important to make the cycle very quick to do updates. So we're seeing cycles of 2 weeks where the product owner comes with a change request. It has to go to, let's say, management team where they validate the budget, and then it's put into development. So that happens in 2 weeks to really keep the innovation going and to be ahead of your partners, about your competitors, sorry. Because about every quarter, you need to keep your SWOT analysis going to see where your competitors are at and whether your solution is still the right one in the market. It makes sense that also Odoo is evolving. You're having a verticalization on Odoo Enterprise, that you also need to move them to the next version. Last but not least, the whole reason why we're doing it is to make your business more profitable, okay? So check once in a while, okay, is this verticalization strategy actually working? Am I making money from it? And what's important to know is you can always pivot, because we have examples of, let's say, for example, the timber industry that I just showed you. They are now also moving already a little bit to the steel industry, because the business processes are the same, the modules are kind of the same, so they're actually able, with already the solution they have, to pivot to a different group if one of the solutions is not that profitable anymore. And now this takes me to the last bit, is of course, where can we as Odoo help you partners who are thinking about verticalization strategy? It really comes down to two essential things. The first of all is us partner managers. I'm a key partner, okay, which means that I'm available for my partners to really help them and be a coach and think about what are their next steps when it comes to sales and marketing. So be really honest, be open with your partner manager, where your ambitions are, where your challenges lie, and we can really help you with the insight that we have to make you realize those goals, okay? What's more important is that also we're seeing bigger partners are doing projects on an international level. All of the partners that I spoke to are looking to collaborate with other partners in different countries, and the more expertise you have in a specific industry, the more likely it is that other partners are going to come to you because they have a client and in their own region and they can help. So again, we as partner managers, we're really trying to understand where the strengths of the different partners lie and to make them collaborate a lot easier. The second thing is our MMC department. So we have in every office, we're looking to build an MMC department where we're really trying to target bigger clients who have different needs. And here, Odoo is really also looking for collaborations with partners. Why? Because of course the partners have specific industry knowledge that Odoo doesn't have yet, especially when it comes to bigger, complex projects. Again, this verticalization strategy makes complete sense then when you are also looking to collaborate with Odoo on projects together. So let's make both of us stronger together. So I've talked a little bit about the idea, the solution, and the future. So I hope I've given you some good ideas on how to continue. But in short, the three things that I want you to remember from today is when you're thinking about an idea, validate it with somebody from the market. Let's say not your client, but somebody external. The second is, let's say, when you're building your solution, where is the difference between what a client really wants, so it's a project, or what the market, the solution needs. And that's really the most important feedback that I got from the partners. And the last, when it comes to marketing, try and stay away from just being on top of Odoo, but create really a community around the industry that you're trying to target so that you become an expert. So I hope this helped. I thank you, and I'm here for any questions.
Thank you very much for the presentation. We do have a few questions here. So the first one will be, to optimize the sales and implementation process, do you recommend partners to allocate different industry or vertical specific sales and implementation teams?
Yes. I think when it comes to sales, I think you don't specifically need a different profile, because salespeople are very good at trying to understand what are the pain points within a customer. And so very quickly, with you explaining their solution, I think a general sales will be able to also do the more, let's say, industry specific. When it comes to implementation, 100% you need a separate implementation team who is focused on these industry solutions. Because those guys will really understand a bit more about the needs of your customers and will then be able to give really great feedback towards the product owner or to whoever is developing the solution to improve it for future clients.
Thank you. The second question is, we have developed an industry solution. However, we struggle to explain to the client the difference between Odoo's role and our role, especially with bugs. Customers often tell us, we buy this from you, so we expect you to fix it. Is there any tip on how to approach this?
Yeah, that's a good one. So, look, I think you need to explain to the customer that your industry solution is on top of Odoo, and so that there needs to be the divide what is actually offered by Odoo and what is offered by your own services. Regarding support, a lot of different partners offer different SLAs, but in the end, it is important you're responsible for your clients, so they need to be able to always get the support.
Thank you. In your opinion, how can we work on vertical solution if we have a small team or we can't afford the 5-resource approach that you mentioned?
Yeah, this is what I spoke about the very first one. It's to be a bit more entrepreneurial or optimistic about your current client base. So look at what expertise you have today, okay, and then try and find, have we already built a specific solution? Can we take some of the solution that we have into a separate model? Because then you already have, let's say, the knowledge in-house, you already have a couple of references, and from that on, it's very easy to then build a landing page with another Odoo website, and to continue from there. So look at your current client base, look where you get the best feedback from your clients. Can you find common grounds? Are there characteristics that puts them aside? And then go from there.
Thank you. Have you seen any partner succeeding in making a regional approach, and to benefit from word of mouth?
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing is, once you start targeting a specific industry, they're often quietly close-knitted, okay? So it means, for example, if I take the example of Tim's Anywhere from Will Do in Australia, they're really focused on the timber industry, and they had a couple of really good references where they published a use case in a timber magazine. And this really, because it was recognized, because the timber industry, of course, is well related. Mm-hmm. And this means that other potential clients are reaching out to that customer to understand, okay, what is the solution? Why does it work? So I think it's the most important, and it comes from your own solution. If it's good, your clients will be the biggest lead generation.
Thank you. And one last, because we only have 50 seconds left. Are there industries Odoo prefers or wants to have?
So a big tip for you guys is that Odoo is actually very open about which industries it wants to go into. So we have a GitHub repository about all the industries where you see which ones we're actually targeting, and you can actually see the solution for yourself. So it's on GitHub, it's available for partners to see, and this will really also help to define your own verticalization strategies.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your talk.
Bye-bye.